What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Off Day Podcast with Carmen and Liz.
Welcome back, y'all. You're in for a treat. Treat?
What is that, like trick or
Alright.
treat?
No, because today's
Oh.
episode is about
True.
Okay, y'all, today's episode is gonna be about fueling for everyday versus for performance. And also we're gonna talk about eating and not restricting and kind of how to balance your relationship with food during the holidays. So we're going to kind of go through our past experiences with food and eating, and we're going to kind of give our best tips about what we eat throughout the week in training, and then kind of how we fuel before and after competitions.
Yeah. All the sweet little tips and tricks.
Yeah. I feel like people have been asking for this one. Like, people have been asking us, what do I eat? How do I eat? Yeah.
I've been getting that a lot too. Like, can you do like a what you eat in the day type thing? And I was like, okay.
So we're doing it, and then we're going to relate it to the holidays. So,
Yeah.
happy December.
'Tis the season. Be jolly.
Yup. Ho, ho, ho. Anyways, but first, we're going to kick it off with Lizzie's race. Lizzie did a race this weekend in Cincinnati. So she's going to kick it off with a little recap of how that one went.
Yeah.
I sound like a news reporter.
So I did a 6-hour race. So we're 2 weeks off of High Rocks Dallas. So obviously my past 5 months of training has been geared towards that. And then I decided to say it and sign up for a 6-hour race that I have not trained for and never done anything near that in my life. So, said F it, did it for shits and giggles. And basically what it was it's called 6 hours of power. So it was how many loops, trail loops, mind you, can you do in 6 hours? And it was about like 3.4 mile loops. So I was like, all right, like, let's do it, like, for fun, whatever.
Let's
Pick the hardest. Yeah, like, instead of picking a marathon, and mind you, I always said I would never do a marathon. I was like, that's too far. I'm never going to do a marathon. Same. I would never do it. And then here I am. And so instead of picking, a marathon on the road with a bunch of people and all the excitement and you just, look around, I chose to do loops after loops after loops on a trail, like, by myself. So the organization that put this on, it's like a really small, like, group of people, and they do like a series, and they're really cool. They're so nice and everything. So it's really low key. And I got there and there was like 30 people, and a lot of them were doing the half marathon or the 10K.
Like different, you could choose different distances.
Yeah. So there was the 5K, 10K, half marathon, and then 6-hour power. So there was about like 5 of us that were doing the 6-hour power. But
makes sense.
Yeah. And so the first loop, there was like a bunch of us, obviously, because everyone did that first 5K loop together before you kind of split off or you stopped. And the rest of it, I was completely by myself. There was not one loop that I was with someone or anywhere like where I could see someone. I was completely by myself.
Did you ever see him, like, when you came back to the end?
Yeah, so each loop that I came around, you had to, like, run underneath, like, the finish line, and there was, like, the pavilion there. So at the pavilion, there were, like, people that were, like, cheering you on every time you came through, and they had, like, a fuel station as well. So I had no clue how to fuel for this. I reached out and had actually a few marathon friends reach out to me as well, because I was like, I need help. Like, I need tips, like, whatever, like, someone help me. And I've been a distance runner for so long, but not to this extreme, so I don't really know proper fueling during a race. And so the tips that I was given was fuel every hour, like quick, carbs, simple sugars, however it is. So basically I had fruit snacks and like mini Rice Krispie treats with me. And then I got the G1M Sport electrolytes and stuff. So I had that in my vest. So yeah, like every hour I was like, okay, like I'll just like eat something.
Yeah. Like,
Dude,
even if you're not hungry.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. I was just going to go till I was hungry, but good thing I didn't.
Yeah, I feel like that's too late. If you're hungry, that's too late.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, 100%. And dude, I swear to you, I hit 13 and I was like, okay, I'm feeling good, whatever. You know when you go to do a long run and if I was doing 10 miles every weekend for like a few weeks and then I go to 12, those last 2 miles hurt so bad. Does that happen to you?
I don't know, man. My long runs are not really that long.
Well, even like if you
The
go
whole
from,
thing hurts.
Like from 8 to 10, like I don't know. For some reason with me, the last 2 miles.
When you know you're almost done, like that's what you're trying to say. Like,
yeah.
when you know you're almost done, your body's like, all right, let's hurry this up. We're done. We're done here.
Kinda. Yeah. It's just like those last 2 miles, like your body just kind of goes in pain. You're like, oh my gosh, okay, I need this to be over. From 17, sorry, because my max was 15. I pushed through to 17. Literally from like 17 to 23, I almost cried multiple times because my hips hurt so bad. I mean, like, it felt like someone took a hammer to my hips. And then the terrain.
And it's hilly.
Yeah, so the terrain, it wasn't bad, but it was slick. And like after each loop, it kept getting like more and more slick just from people running. And I kid you not, at one point of this race, I full on stopped because I kept slipping, grabbed my knees, and was just MFing up a storm. I literally almost started crying my eyes out. And I was just like, okay, pull yourself together. It's fine. Like, you're fine. So I was like, just get to 20. I got to 20 and I was like, okay, I'm going to refuel. Like, I stopped and actually like took time at the fuel station rather than running with it. And I started talking to some of the people there. And I was like, yeah, like I've never ran a marathon before. Like I've never done any of this. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I haven't trained for this either. Like I've done 20-mile weeks and then a 34-mile week and that's it. And they were like, oh my God. Like,
it's the High Rocks training, bro.
Yeah, they were like, what? And so there was this one guy, he was Australian. He helped me so much. He was like really pushing me. He was giving me gels, like the honey stinger gels. He's like, this is what you need. And he was like, I want to coach you. Like, I've been seeing you come through. Like, I want to coach you. And I'm like, dude, this is like a one and done type thing. Like, let me get through this. But he reminded me of McKee, honestly. So I was like, you know what? It's fine. So I hit a marathon. I came through the loop at 27 miles. And I still had an hour left, and I was, like, so close to just being like, you know what? I'm good. I hit a marathon. It's fine. I called my dad, too, and he's like, you're not just going to stop there. Like, I know you're not.
Oh.
And so they were all, like, everyone at the event, they were, like, cheering me on. They're like, dude, like, you have an hour. Like, you can jog this entire thing and be fine. Like, hit 30. And I was like, all right, like, let's do it. And so they gave me like pep talks and stuff. So I went out and I did my last loop and I came through and yeah, I hit 30 miles in 5.5 hours and I am in so much pain right now. Like I have never felt this type of pain and soreness ever. Like it's like last night, I probably woke up how many times, like every 2 hours, just putting biofreeze all over my body because I was like, my body's in shambles.
It's all in your bed. It's in your sheets now.
No, 100%. Yeah. But yeah, so it was really cool. I'm really proud of myself. It was truly a lot of mental grit and physical grit. I did that whole thing literally basically by myself on a trail, slipping and sliding. And I'm proud of myself, you know, and I won. I had the most loops out of anyone there, which is crazy.
Jeez.
So
you really threw in the towel.
So yeah, I was talking to the one girl right before it. I was like, "Are you doing the 6 hour power?" She's like, "Yeah, I just did like a 30 miler like in Mount Airy," And I was like, yep, well, hey, see ya. I was
Oh,
like, hey,
yeah.
you have fun. You have fun. I will not be joining. And then I ended up beating her. So that was crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy the adrenaline you get, man, when it's like the race environment too. Like the
Yeah,
things you can do,
100%. Yeah, that was definitely up there with one of the toughest things I've done. Just
Yeah.
especially mentally, honestly.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. 30, like, that's insane. I
Yeah.
still can't comprehend that many miles, to be quite honest.
I feel like doing stuff like that though, like it really elevates your confidence going forward. Like now you can be like, I just did 30 in one day. Like that'll be easy to do in 1 week. Or like it'll like if you see a marathon, like how you said you thought you'd never do a marathon, you're like, dude, I just ran that in one day. Like I could definitely just run a marathon if I wanted, because that's
Yeah.
a big, like it's a mental block. Yeah, it's definitely you're mentally stronger now.
Yeah, even just with like going to like long runs now, it's kind of like, oh, like I have a 12-mile long run, but then I'm like, that's literally not even half of what I did. So like I can do it.
Yeah, like you can like think back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so that's that.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm
That was
down.
a
I'm
good
not.
recap.
I am literally not training this week at all. Maybe I'll try to do a 2-mile shakeout, but yeah, I'm not. I can't. I literally cannot.
Hey, yo, dude, what? Just walk. Go on walks or something,
My walks
Ice
are so
bath.
slow.
Ice bath. Lay on your
Yeah.
face. All right. Well, that was sick, man. Dude, I'm back to
Yeah.
like being the news reporter. And no. But, all right, cool. Well, yeah, we're going to keep on recapping. If we have milestones like that, we're definitely going to recap them on here with y'all in the pod. So stay tuned for more of that. But anyway, getting into today's main episode topic, we're going to talk about, first, we're going to talk about food and restrictions that we've experienced and kind of what we've learned from them. It's probably negative. But yeah, do you have any, kind of stories to relate?
I just had a whole spiel, so you can kick us off with anything that
God.
you have that you've done, and then I'll go second, just because I just did that whole thing.
Okay, yeah. You need a water break. So, okay, to kick off like food restrictions. So, obviously, y'all, you shouldn't be restricting yourself in any way. Even if you're on like a diet, you shouldn't be restricting yourself too hard in any certain area. You got to live your life. We're all on this earth. We're all just little dots on this earth, like we've said before. And you need to live your life, and you don't want to live it restricting yourself. So, but I feel like, we can talk about this because we've been through it, and I feel like some things that come out of restrictions are injuries. And you may be thinking like, oh, I'm restricting myself on not eating desserts or not eating enough food, like a ton of food after a workout. But you may be thinking that that's helping you like keep weight off, or keep you in a better shape. Your brain, it plays crazy tricks on you, man. But really,
Yeah.
you're just getting injured. So I've definitely been there. I've definitely been there where like I would not eat desserts. I would not eat lunch. Or I would just have like a banana for lunch because I would like get on my scale and be like, I need to maintain this weight because that's going to help me run faster. Like, obviously, if I don't have all this weight, I don't have to be carrying this weight around the track,
Well, and like the stigma is the lighter you are, the faster you are. And that's so wrong. So wrong.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, that's like in a lot of news stories nowadays where like coaches make their athletes restrict themselves and maintain a certain weight, and then the athlete just ends up getting injured and maybe even eventually like quits running or gives up their dreams, because they were just restricting their diet. Like your diet has such a heavy play on your performance and you're just
100%.
how you feel every day,
Mhm. Yeah. No, you said that perfectly. And I mean, we obviously reference everything to like the running aspect because that's what we did. But I mean, it just goes for any sport out there. Like, so
Yeah.
many
Or
athletes
not even sport.
restrict.
Just how you're
Yeah,
being.
yeah, in life, just feel like they need to go on diets and they need to like cut carbs and all this stuff, and they think carbs are bad. But carbs, one thing I learned from my undergrad is carbs are literally the fuel for the fire. Like they're the logs. They're the logs that help the fire, something like
Logs.
that. Whatever. But there was a whole analogy.
Log.
But like you need carbs to function. You
Yeah.
literally need carbs to function.
Have you seen or have you seen Free Guy or Fall Guy?
No, you were watching that on the plane, dude. I didn't watch
Yeah,
it.
get my playing videos in. Well, in Fall Guy, he's getting like right. He got kidnapped and then he's all tied up, and the guy is like saying some dumb shit to him, and he's like, "You literally need carbs for brain function. That's why you kidnapped me. Like that's why like you're being crazy." It's like you need carbs.
But it's true. Like you really do need it, and kind of in like my aspect, I know like you had talked about like injuries and stuff, and that's so true.
Yeah,
And like being a distance runner in my background, like it's always the stigma of you have to be like the skinny little girl that's the distance runner look. And I feel like it's changed so much now because so many people are coming out of like, no, like it's not. Like we are bigger boned or whatever it might be, or I'm like whatever. Like, and I can still run this fast and I can go this far. Like it
yeah,
doesn't matter what shape or size you are. Like it doesn't need to be that stigma of, oh, skinny little distance girl. And I always fell into that because I was small like my freshman sophomore year at college, and I was like, oh, I need to maintain this. I need to stay
yeah,
this small. I need to stay a twig and fit into these small clothes. And I like would always be very nervous about like what I ate and everything. And then eventually I started to actually fuel myself and not really care what I ate. And I'd be eating Chipotle all the time, and people think Chipotle's bad, but whatever, that's a whole nother topic. And I used to literally rip the nutrition labels off of all my food and hide them in the bottom of the trash can so my roommate didn't see it, because I thought like the food was quote unquote like unhealthy and I didn't want her knowing that I was eating it or looking at the nutrition facts. So I literally would rip them all off and hide them under in the bottom of the trash can.
yeah.
Like
Like
that's like
like even if she didn't even care, like that's like you and your brain being like,
yeah.
oh, like people are gonna judge me, like
Yeah. And like obviously now I'm like I don't give a shit, but like that just shows how like toxic it can be. And once you get into that and you start getting those habits, it's so bad, but it's also so hard to like pull yourself out of as well.
yeah. I feel like it is once you're in a hole like that, it is definitely hard to pull yourself out, and that's why we're talking about it today, so you can maybe maybe you need to make a few realizations for yourself or just kind of learn a few tips and tricks on how to better fuel, even if if you're just looking for different ways to. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely definitely in, in running, there's a lot of toxic things that we've like seen, like whether it's in the news or we
Mhm.
actually experienced it in high school and college and stuff.
Yeah. 100%.
So what are like some big changes that we've made now that are different? I feel like wait, you go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Because I'm still. Go ahead.
So, okay. So for me, I would get stress injuries, like bone injuries, like stress fractures. And I literally, dude, I had both tib fibs, like a toe, my sacrum, and my back. And I mean, they could have been caused from like too much speed workouts that week or something, but I definitely, now that I look back, I attribute it to underfueling for sure, because we would have our practices, and then whether we had time or not to eat between, practices that day or running and lifting, I feel like I never would take the time to eat the right amount.
Mhm.
And then I'm out for freaking 8 weeks, so
Right. It's so much more worth trying to get that fuel in and taking the time, even if you need to pack it, rather than being out how long with an injury.
It's so much more worth it. Like, pack your food in your bag. Like, meal prep, take stuff with you, because, yeah, you need to be eating right after you run. Because there's that window. Isn't there that, like, 30-minute window that you should be eating, refueling after you work out?
Yeah, that's something that I've kind of changed too, is I meal prep for my week. So I'm the type of person though, like I'll eat the same exact thing every single day and not get tired of it. So it's kind of easy, but like that's just me personally. But I'll meal prep all my lunches. I have the same breakfast. The only thing that kind of changes is my dinners. And like sometimes I still struggle because I just won't have an appetite, so I'll eat like a smoothie bowl. But then I'm like, okay, like I know I need to get proteins and I need to get certain things. Like I'm aware and I know it, so I try to get it in different ways. My issue is after long runs, specifically, I have no appetite. So for instance, like after this race that I just had, I could barely get food down because I had no appetite. But I burned 3,000 plus calories. Like I need to refuel. Like prior to that, I'd probably be like, oh my gosh, yay, like I burned that many calories. I don't need to really eat anymore. Like that's great.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, no, like I need to eat double that almost right now because I just broke my body down. Like I need to refuel. And so I was like trying to like force myself to get food down. Yesterday I finally ate like a full like meal and got it down. Now I'm like kind of like back to normal. But like meal prepping has helped me so much. And even when I go home, like my parents are always like, like come on, like let's like where do you want to go, like let's go here or whatever. And I'm like, sure. Like granted I eat gluten-free now, so it's a little bit different, but I still make sure that I'm getting all my stuff, like that I need to get carbs in a certain way. I need to get my proteins, I need to like get the fats, like I know I need to get the stuff, like I'm aware of it, so I try to like still fit it in.
And I feel like that's a super huge point too. Like you need to eat regularly and consistently, even if you're not hungry, even if you don't have an appetite. And like that's like a special case for your race, but you've said like before in just like in basic training on weekends after longer runs that you've experienced that. But yeah, I feel like looking back, we both learned like you need to eat even if you're not hungry. If you just worked out, like you need to refuel.
Yeah. And even just like packing a granola bar or something, if you go somewhere to work out, have something so on that drive home, you're eating something and you're not waiting until you get home to eat. Like just even if it's a granola, like something to hold you over before you can get a full, like a big meal, you need something.
Yeah. And before too. I feel like usually the after eating is neglected, but also you should not be working out on an empty stomach. You know, I don't know. I've learned, I used to do that though. I used to work out on an empty stomach, so that probably attributes to my injuries a little bit. But
no, I definitely used to too. And it's also hard because with like cross country and stuff, we're getting up so early that it's almost like hard to get something fully down. But that's another thing that I've kind of put in my head is, okay, I know I'm doing a long run today, or I know I'm doing a track workout. I need to make sure I get maybe an extra waffle in the morning or whatever it might be, because I know I'm going to be burning so much. So like I need this. So it's just kind of like once you have that switch kind of flip in your brain, it's kind of like, okay, like this is not going to hurt me. Eating more is not going to hurt me or make me get fat or anything like that. Like it's literally helping me avoid being injured, helping me recover, helping me get stronger. Like you need, like food is fuel, and everyone says it, but it's so true.
I feel like another tip for like if you're going to work out super early in the morning is just to make sure you eat a big dinner the night before. Like that could even help you. You know, if you're only going to be able to get down a banana in the morning, like make sure that you add more to your dinner at the night before. And fluids.
Right. Because think about it, you're eating dinner, you're going to bed, you're not eating for 8 plus hopefully hours. And then you're going to
people sleep on
like
that.
Then you have nothing in your system to help you perform the way that you want to perform. Yeah. And then you're breaking your body down during a workout, whether it's a light workout, whatever, you're still breaking your body down with no fuel to help you get through the workout. So it's like you need something. You need something in your stomach to help burn when you're burning during a workout.
Yeah.
And give you energy. Like, yeah.
Dude, I feel like people that know us, like, y'all gotta understand, we are just coming to these realizations, like, in this past 1 to 2 years. Because y'all know us. Y'all know our habits.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can help each other out. Help all y'all out.
But that is so true. There's so many things that, like, you and I have not realized until after college. And I feel like a lot of athletes, it, like, happens to them. But just through us talking in general and through this podcast of how we've reached so many goals outside of college athletics in fitness-related things that we never thought that we would. But it's the same with, like, fueling and eating. Like, we didn't think about this stuff as athletes because we had such a, like, toxic mindset with eating because of certain stigmas or just how it is. And now we're like, we can kick ourselves. We're like, oh, like, if only we had the switch flipped when we were athletes in college.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like all, like, high school, college, I would never, like, eat desserts throughout the week unless it was, like, after the race. I would never eat dessert. I would never eat, like, snacks or snack on stuff. So that's why, like, I always thought the snacks were kind of, like, holding me back when really you need the snacks to kind of, you know, in between meals. So.
Yeah, and one thing, like, especially towards... I think one thing that I did do that was not a part of my, like, toxic habits, I had to have some sort of chocolate the night before a race. And I think that was also just all of us girls on the team in my undergrad, that was something that we all did. So whenever we traveled and stuff.
Yeah, ritual.
And I think that kind of made me feel like, oh, like, okay, this is okay because we all are doing it. And even, like, you know, the girls that I looked up to on the team when I was a freshman, they were like, oh, like, we need to grab, like, a piece of chocolate or something. And I'd be like, oh, okay, sweet, like, cool. And they made it, like, normal. So then throughout all my, like, races, the night before, I always had, like, a little dessert or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you're like, I need this. You're going to become dependent. Dude, I feel like a can of worms, though, that... I don't know if I should open it up, but it definitely relates.
Do it.
Alcohol. Alcohol, y'all. So
yeah,
even if you eat healthy, even if you know, stay good all week, you know, whatever, if you're drinking on the weekend, like binge drinking on the weekend, like, that will set you back. That will set you back.
And well, even if, like, say you're restricting yourself, like, all week and you're like, oh, like, I've ate healthy and all this stuff all week. Like, you could eat super clean all week, but then if you go out and you binge drink, it, like, basically, like, it, like, all that's just out the window at that point. Like, nutrition is so key. Like, and listen, like, we still have our drinks. We still...
thing is, like, we do that and we know that sets us back.
But like, the thing is, though, is, like,
yeah,
we're going to have balance. We're not going to say, don't drink alcohol, don't go out at all. Like, no.
Yeah.
Have a great time. It's just when you know, like, whether you're in college competing right now or just life and working out like us, we know, okay, I'm probably not going to go out leading up to a race.
Yeah, no.
Like, you know, things like that, like, or the week of a race, I'm not going to go and drink a bunch or whatever. But just in general, yeah, it does have an effect. So
yeah, it definitely slows your body. You definitely feel like garbage. Y'all know.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, you shouldn't restrict yourself from a good time. Obviously, we don't. Like, we're not.
I got my glass of wine literally with me right now.
Like, we're not saying that we don't do this stuff, but I mean, I can't drink like I used to for sure. And I, like, don't want to because I want to feel good for my weekend training, you know? So it's just, like, personal preference. And we still go out, just, like, you just gotta watch yourself a little bit more and kind of take care of yourself, and you can still have fun.
It's like occasion based. Like, yeah, I cannot drink at all near how I used to back in my day. But like I have to almost like plan a night out in the sense of like prepare myself because I know I'm gonna feel horrible the next day. And it's like, okay, do I have a race coming up? Because like those are our priorities now in this chapter. Like we still prioritize high rocks and races and our fitness, and we work out every day still because that's just what we prioritize. So it's like, okay, like do I have a high rocks race coming up? Like take that into consideration and things like that. So, and just you're gonna feel like garbage. Like the one time I got COVID from going out, which
from going out.
Listen, it was a fun time. It was a great time. But then I got COVID, so I was like, okay, like that hindered my training for a week. Yeah, but like it's just like things that you got to take into consideration when it comes to your goals. Like, I'm definitely like we went out for right before Thanksgiving, and like that was fun. Like we're gonna still have a great time and go out. It's just you have to really think about
how it's gonna affect.
Yeah.
All right, let's move past that. Let's move past the alcohol.
Next.
We all know its effects, but should we talk about how we fuel for races that may be different than kind of how we eat throughout the week, but also the same? So people ask us, like, what are you eating for races? Like, what should I eat? Like, what do I do? And I think a big player in it is that you kind of got to stick to the same things that you normally eat. So you don't want to randomly eat something that someone else said was healthy, but you've never ate before. You don't want to do that right before your race. Like if you never eat oatmeal and peanut butter, but someone says, oh, you should try oatmeal and peanut butter. And yes, that is a good choice for a pre-race. But if you never eat oatmeal, that could mess up your stomach so bad for your race. So you need to really think about what are things that I eat currently that are kind of clean and that don't upset my stomach and that have high protein and carb ratios that I could eat before my race.
Yeah. It's just like the stuff that you're used to eating and like that works for you. So I kind of put on here like my pre-race meal kind of changed over time because I used to do salmon and I realized like I used to get really bad stomach aches after eating it, and I just thought, oh, that was just normal. Like I would eat till I was full.
Like everyone eats it. Like everyone says it's healthy.
And then I just started realizing like I like actually just get really bad stomach aches from salmon, but not like tilapia or anything. So I like cut salmon out and I switched to just like chicken and rice for like pre-meat or just like chicken and stuff. And I feel like I haven't had salmon in years now.
Yeah.
I think my stomach was just like not having it. But because everyone else was like kind of eating it and they were like, oh yeah, you want to have like fish or chicken and things like that. I was like, oh, okay. But now I'm like, no, as long as I get like chicken and rice, like things like that, I'm good. Like that's fine.
Yeah. Like that's like a high carb and protein meal. Just
Protein.
chicken and rice. Yep. Y'all get it.
Yeah. You know.
That'd be like a good like day before the race, like dinner before if you're racing in the morning the next day. Like throw a bunch of carbs, but don't neglect the protein. I feel like we used to carb load, quote unquote. Everyone says carb load, and that's true, like the few days leading up to your race, but you can't forget about the meats and the chicken and the salmon and that type of stuff. So protein.
Yeah. Like high school was just pasta dinners. Like there's no meat. It's just pasta. I refuse to have spaghetti. Like I refuse.
I feel like
because
I just can't even relate to anything that I did in high school because it's just so far gone. I just do nothing that I did in high school. Like, what about like if your race is in the morning? Like, what would you recommend to eat then?
I mean, as like a dinner, I'm gonna still keep my dinners consistent. Maybe I'm not gonna eat like till like I used to eat till my stomach was like hurting, and we used to call it like Big Mama. Like we'd eat till we were big mamas, and I was like, no, I look back,
Big
I'm
Mama
like,
fool.
Yeah, no, literally, but when we would race in the morning, I would still want to fuel a lot because I knew that I wouldn't be able to get a lot down in the morning because I would like almost want to puke every time I ate because of my nerves.
Oh yeah,
So like I'd be
true.
so nervous for like an early cross country race that it was so hard for me to get like a bagel and peanut butter down. So I knew like the night before I'm like I want to eat a lot because in the morning I'm not going to be able to really get a whole lot down.
Yeah, I feel like for High Rocks and like for these races now too, the different drinks like um I'm not about to do an ad, so I'm not about to call anyone out, but like different electrolyte mixes that have like a high carbs amount of carbs in them as well. It's easier to drink your carbs in the morning than to like chew a banana. Like I don't like the consistency of a banana in the morning, so that's not
Yeah.
me. I would rather choose to drink my carbs, you know,
Mhm.
in a nice little fruit punch flavor or something like that. I think that works for me. And then I was also going to mention, what do you usually feel like? I feel like I stop eating food about 2 hours before my race.
That's a great point. Um I would kind of agree. Usually about like 2 hours out, I try to get a like the last like maybe it's a bagel and peanut butter or something like big
Yeah.
in, and then because we usually warm up an hour before the race. So that
Yeah.
hour before we warm up is when you kind of want to get your last bigger stuff in. And then about that, like right before you start to warm up, I might do like fruit snacks or something that's like simple and
Yeah.
quick and easy to digest. Like that's what you would want more leading closer to because like a bagel is kind of pushing it because it's like harder for your body to like digest that where and it's just going to like kind of like sit in you. But like
Your stomach's
simple
going to hurt.
is gonna digest faster, so it'll just like be easier to get that in you.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like an unspoken rule that we have. Like even at our doubles races, like we both are not eating when it's 2 hours out. Like
Yeah.
after the 2 hour, if your race is at, okay, we're done talking about the morning. I feel like if
Yeah.
you're any time of the day, if your race is at like 1 p.m., like we're done eating solid food at like 11:15, and then from there on
Mhm.
out it's just drinking electrolytes and making sure that you're hydrated. um if you can flex your muscles and they don't feel like they're about to cramp, or if your pee is clear, then I feel like you're good to go. That's kind of your
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah. a hundred
With the
percent.
electrolytes, yeah, just kind of sit and chug on them, sip on them
Till your tongue is raw.
till your tongue is actually raw. That's how you know you're hydrated. Yeah.
All right. Should we talk about since the holiday season's coming up? Eating with the holidays. So we just had Thanksgiving, one of the bigger days of the year to feast and fuel. I'll say this. After being retired, and this kind of goes back to the whole beginning part of what we kind of talked about, and I don't know if you experience this, but I like definitely do. I always worry about what people like view me now in the sense of knowing that I'm no longer a college athlete. Like, oh, has she gained weight? Has she like done this? And I get nervous that if people see me eating junk food and stuff, it's like, oh, like why is she eating that? And so when it comes to holidays, like I don't care. I'ma eat my food and I'ma eat some sweet treats. But it's still like in the back of my head like, oh no, like should I be eating this much right now? Should I be eating another cookie? Is my sorry family, like are my family members gonna like think something like, oh, she's eating multiple cookies right now? And that's just obviously they're probably not, but that's just something that's like in the back of my head just from being an athlete for so long, those stigmas that you think that you're supposed to fit into, to then like how we are now, which is a million times better, but it's just that little tiny voice in the back of my head that I still get paranoid about.
Yeah. I feel like Everyone's kind of got their own version of that little tiny voice too, you know.
Mhm.
I feel like a way that I've been thinking about it in recent years, even like from college and through on our training nowadays, is homemade meals are always going to be better than fast food, you know.
Mhm.
So if you're eating homemade meals and you think like, oh, I'm eating too much, or this is, gonna make me slower or out of shape, blah blah blah. Think about if you're eating like fast food, like that's
Mhm.
miles worse. I
Yeah.
just saw, dude, I just saw a video of this guy who he let a Big Macs just sit out like in his house for like 3 months and it did not mold.
Yeah. Have you
No
seen the
mold.
years? Have you seen the years video? There's I've seen where they do like a time lapse of it for like like that go by for literally years and it doesn't
Yeah,
change
it looks the
at all.
exact same because of
And
the
that's what you're putting in your
preservatives.
body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your mom's sweet potato casserole is going to be loads better for you than that. First of all.
Yeah.
Um yeah, another thing. I feel like I've been getting a lot of weird food reels, not TikToks, 'cause I'm on reels, y'all. Lizzie's on TikTok.
It's getting
Um
banned, so I'll be on real soon.
yeah, you're going to have to convert soon.
I know.
But another one that I just saw was this lady talks about how you could eat 12 donuts and like she was talking about the amount of fat that equals 1 pound or something. And she said for 12 donuts, that would equal 1 pound. And not that you're going to eat 1 pound of fat. And not that you're going to eat 12 donuts, but that just kind of puts into perspective like a cookie. That is like you shouldn't be thinking about your eating as a ratio of how much fat it is, but it just kind of puts into perspective the holiday season. Like, okay, I
Yeah.
can eat these cookies in moderation and it's not going to make me gain weight, you know? I forget what the numbers were that she said, but
That is so true. I feel like it is one of those things that gets put in your head like, oh, if I eat all these cookies, like I'm gonna gain so much weight. And obviously going back to the scale thing. Like that's such a harsh relationship with always stepping on the scale and then worrying about the amount of cookies that you eat is gonna gain weight. Like, yeah,
yeah.
that really puts in great perspective. Think about like a box of Krispy Kreme donuts, eating that whole 12 pack. Like, probably not going to. I mean, I don't know, but it's true. Like, you
Yeah.
can have one extra freaking cookie on the holiday. It's the holiday.
It's the
It's
holidays.
fine.
Yeah, it's nostalgic. You made the cookies yourself. Eat them, with your
Yeah.
fam or whatever. I feel like with that too, I feel like you don't want to cold turkey just stop working out during the holidays either though. Like even if you're going to cut your week down to only a few workouts or like different types of workouts or even just like making sure you get in your stretching or yoga, like that's going to be better than just doing nothing and
Mhm.
with all the extra, blood sugar.
You'll probably feel worse if you just cold turkey stop and then you're eating all the food. Like you're probably gonna feel even worse than if you just did some light working out, even if you go for walks, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It just helps you digest better. So when you do eat the good amount of food that you should be eating on the holiday because you deserve it, you'll be able to just digest it better and you'll still feel better than you could potentially after.
Like I feel like a lot of people get stressed out in the holidays. Like maybe you're the one that has to cook all the food or buy all the presents for everyone and it gets stressful. But making sure that you can get in like a few walks or maybe a couple runs during the holiday season, like that could really be a game changer, I feel like, especially with your stress levels.
One thing I heard and like I always think about it is if you can sit and scroll on your phone for 20 minutes That's 20 minutes that you can go outside and just go for a walk. Scroll on your
Yeah.
phone while walking, but like you sitting there for 20 minutes, 30 minutes scrolling on your phone, but then in the next hand you're going to say that you don't have time to work
Or
out
it's
or
too
do
cold.
anything. Right. But you can sit there and scroll. You can go do 20 minutes of yoga.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hate the excuse that it's too cold. And I don't know if it's just me, because since moving to California, when I go back to visit home in the winter, I appreciate the snow a lot more now, because it's like pretty and it's fun to go outside in the snow. And I know like people who live in the snow don't all have that same opinion, but we can't use it's cold as an excuse to not
Mm-hmm.
get outside and move your body, because like it's cold if you live in the Midwest or somewhere where it's cold a third of the year or even half of the
Yeah.
year. So you can't be
Mhm.
using that as an excuse and then not work out for half the year outside or like go on walks outside. So that's kind of harsh, but I don't know who needed to hear that.
It makes you
But-
mentally tougher, and it
Yeah.
also just helps you aerobically too. If you run or walk and do cardio in the cold, it helps you aerobically in the cold. Also, I will say to kind of counteract that, even if it is cold outside and you have a treadmill at home, stand on the treadmill, walk, and scroll on your phone. If anything,
Yeah, you can still
you
scroll.
you can still scroll inside warm on a treadmill. Or if you have a membership to a gym, like it's an hour maybe max out of your day. You can do it. It's okay. You can do it.
Those are off day harsh realities. Tune in. Tune in next week for more.
Why are you running?
But yeah, I feel like I kind of like mentioned stress, but I have a little list of how to manage stress with the holidays. I'm just going to read it off really fast. Y'all can take it or leave it.
Mental health.
Mental health check here. So, first off, avoid stress eating, and you could do that by just taking moments to yourself. If you feel stressed out and, you're trying to manage the family or people are being annoying, people are yelling at each other, or you're cooking and it's just getting so stressful, like just go outside, take a moment for yourself. Make sure that you prioritize yourself in those moments of stress.
Find peace in mixing up cookie dough.
That was just an example.
I was gonna say I get kind of frustrated doing that. I don't know how that's peaceful. I'm like,
like find peace in the process of cooking rather than being like, oh, I gotta cook all this stuff. I have no time. Blah blah blah. Like find peace in it. Like, ooh, this is gonna taste good. Like I'm making it. I don't know. That was my thinking.
all right. I would say kind of something that I had said in a previous episode was one of my exercises was for every negative, say 2 positives. So during this as well, think about like, oh, like I have so much cooking I need to do. I got so much stuff to get done. I have to clean the house and all this stuff. I get to bake for my family. I get to host my family. I get to have my family over and we can all be together and cherish the holiday season and enjoy this time together. Like,
Yeah,
yes, y'all are
exactly.
probably going to be yelling at each other. Someone's going to be MFing someone. But you got to laugh at it. It's like, yep, it's the holidays. Like, just, it's funny at the point. You just got to laugh at it and be like, you know what? I get to do this. We just spend the time together that we have together. Cherish those moments and just keep that in your mind. Cherish the time that you have with your family, especially you don't live by them. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that was a good one. That was a good round out.
Thanks.
All right. I feel like we should just call it there on the
I think
foodie
so.
episode.
I think so too. It's a good one.
All right, y'all. Make sure to go check us out on YouTube if you haven't yet. We have a vlog.
You can watch our podcast or listen to it on all of our platforms, but vlog and our podcasts are now live. You can see our faces when we talk.
Yeah, we got some more funny, like, voiceover vlog style videos kind of that we've been thinking about, kind of in the works. So stay tuned for those.
Yeah, if you like those, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
We switched it up. Not a typical vlog. It's a vlogcast. So if you like that and you want more, let us know. And if you let us know, we might give you a prize. Uh-oh.
Giveaway.
Ooh, and now we know if you're listening all the way through or not.
Ooh. But yeah, follow us on
yeah.
the gram.
Off Day Podcast with a K. Ooh!
Yep.
That's that. Let's
Tune
wrap.
in next week.
All right. Be seeing ya.
See y'all.